showing on air yet.
It's a secret.
Your little
Does the
lights.
on-air sign need to be on?
No, that's his first.
Very good. There it is. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6:30 p.m. and this is the regular city council meeting of the City of Rockport City Council for May 23rd, 2023. And I'll ask you to stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have a seat. First item on the agenda is presentation of certificate of election to the newly elected official for Ward 1, Stephanie Rangel. Stephanie, if you'll come up, I'll give this to you, and then we'll have a swearing in for you. Our county judge, Garza, to swear her in today, and he's agreed to do that.
Do we have a microphone?
Judge?
The judge. Just one moment, sir. And they may want to move in front of the TV.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Stephanie Rangel, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of City Council Member Ward 1 of the City of Rockport of the State of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. All right, congratulations.
Appreciate it. And I think you come up here. Certificate to Councilman Ward 3, Brad Brundrett. There is that. And now he will be duly sworn in or sworn at.
Sworn at, probably.
Please.
All right, you raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Brad Brundrett,
I, Brad Brundrett,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City Council Member,
of the office of City Council Member,
Ward 3, the City of Rockport.
Ward 3 of the City of Rockport,
Let's get to it. Of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability
of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the laws and Constitution of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thing we're going to do is deliberate and act on the election of a council member as mayor pro tem.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
If I may, I would like to nominate our Mayor Pro Tem, Andrea Hatman, again, to be our Mayor Pro Tem for the next at least year.
All right. Are there other nominations? If not, I'll call for a vote. Ward one?
Second.
I'll second the motion.
Didn't I get a second? Thank you. Ward one?
Aye.
Ward two?
Aye.
Ward three?
Aye.
Ward four? Mayor, aye. Congratulations. All right. Next item on the agenda is citizens to be heard. At this time, comments limited to 3 minutes will be taken from the audience from persons who have signed the speaker's card located at the table of the back training room of the Service Center and delivered to the city secretary before the meeting begins, or written comments received by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting on any agenda item or subject matter. It will be read into the meeting. Persons wishing to address the council and who have registered using the citizen participation form will have up to 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with Open Meetings Act, council may not discuss or take any action on any item that has not been posted on the agenda. While civil public criticism is not prohibited, disorderly conduct or disturbance of the peace, as prohibited by law, shall cause the chair to terminate the offender's time to speak. I have 2 cards. First of all, this is citizens to be heard. First, Adelaide Marlott.
Good evening. I'm Adelaide Marlette, and I live at 456 Augusta. That is located in the Rockport Country Club, and this is the subdivision that I advocate for, usually for drainage. I'm here tonight just to do something briefly, and that is to get an update on the drainage plans and how we move forward with the drainage. If all of you have not had a look at the project that is completed, it was a beautiful job. The hole that we created there, that area is just gorgeous, and it worked pretty well this last real heavy rain that we had. There were some glitches, and Ken is going to tell you about them, but I just brought some pictures for hole number 17, pond number 20 at hole 17, and pond 10 located at the tee box, because I had been told about midway through the project that the next thing we do would be to clean out the ponds. And one of the things I brought along was the names of some people who do spraying. The county has used one, and one is just another group that is in the Robstown area. They're called Herman Fish Farms. But if you aren't ready to do the actual digging out like we had with 11 and 12, you can do some spraying, and I brought that along. And I also brought a calendar. Sissy Beasley, who used to live in the subdivision, did this for us. And if you notice, when you look at it, she did not include any holes with reeds in them. That tells you something. But that's not what the problem is. The problem is that when you put reeds in those ponds, they don't hold the water they're supposed to, and they accumulate dirt. So please, what I would like to do is get the players again together, like we did before, Manager Schroner, and see if we can move forward. We had some really excellent meetings before, and I would really appreciate if we could call one of those meetings now and see if we can move forward. I'll give you this in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marlott. Ken Barron.
Ken Barron, I live at 402 Cascades, the country club, and I'm just here to report on the rain event and how it affected the drainage, May 10th rain event and how it affected the drainage in the country club. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for implementing the project on hole 11. That's working just the way we anticipated it should. We do have and using a lot of the existing vacant lots to build the homes. And a lot of those lots were drainage paths for floodwaters, and now they're getting plugged up by new houses being built there. And we're developing some new areas of flooding because those drainage paths are being blocked. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. All consent agenda items listed are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member requests so, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Do we have a request for removal of one item?
Item 9, please.
Item 9. Okay, we'll consider item 9 after the rest of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda items 10 through 15?
Sir, you need to read the caption. Number 15.
I will.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, I have a
Plus
motion.
item
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Minus number 9 is
I will read it.
minus 9, sorry, that was second. Yeah.
I have a motion and second. Any further question or consent? Contest. If not, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1? Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. I need to read into the record item number 15. Deliberate and act on second and final reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Rockport, Texas, authorizing the acceptance of credit cards for payment of fees, fines, court costs, and other charges, providing for processing fee for payment of fees, fines, court costs, and other charges by credit card, providing for a service charge if a payment is not honored, providing for severability, providing a repealer clause, finding and determining that the meeting at which the ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law, and establishing an effective date. Regular agenda item number 16. This is a postponed item from the May 9th meeting.
Mayor,
I'm sorry.
would you go back to 9?
You're right. The one we took out. Item number 9, deliberate and act on approval of the City Council regular meeting minutes of May 9th, 2023, and special meeting minutes of May 17th, 2023.
There was a correction to the minutes from the special meeting on May 17th. Teresa's made the correction already. Brad Vendrett and Stephanie Rangel were noted on the minutes as in attendance, which they were not. She accepted that change and it's been made. Just wanted to make sure that that was noted since it was incorrect in the packet.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to accept item number 9 with the amendment on attendance.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion second. Any further question or debate? If not, Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Item number 16, postponed as of May the 9th, 2023. Deliberate and act on first reading of an ordinance authorizing the closing, vacating, and abandonment of a portion of Sweet Bay Avenue lying between lot number 32, block number 4, Denver Heights subdivision, and lot number 17, block 7, Denver Heights subdivision, City of Rockport, Aransas County, Texas, according to the plat recorded in Volume 1, Page 9, Real Public Records of Aransas County, Texas, providing for the terms and conditions of such vacation and abandonment, authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deeds for the 0.193 acres or 8,419 square feet to be closed, vacated, and abandoned, and providing for an effective date.
Mayor and council, this is similar to several of the other street closings, unused street closings that we've done where we split the property between the neighbors on each side. We did recently get the appraisal back on this. It was $25,000. And if Mrs. Pham and Mr. Elkins agree to that price, then we're asking for your approval to sell it.
Are the two people in question, Jessica Pham and Mr. Elkins, are you present?
Can you come to the podium, please?
Oh,
Is Ms. Pham here?
don't see her. Yes, sir. You have heard that the appraisal was $25,000. Is that suitable with you?
That is suitable, and I have talked to Mr. Pham. We have agreed to split that cost and responded.
All right.
So if you guys approve, then when I get their check, quit claim deed.
Okay. Any further questions from council?
I move to approve item 16 as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further question or debate? Call for a vote. Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 17, deliberate and act on first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 9, Permit and License Fees of the Code of Ordinances, City of Rockport, Texas, repealing all ordinances to the extent they are in conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Dietrich.
Carrie Dietrich, Community Planner for the City of Rockport, and this came to light because we realized that we were doing engineered reviews for plats and plans and that sort of thing, but not being reimbursed by the developers. So that was how we originally started this amendment. But as we started looking, we realized there were things in there that are no longer, they're obsolete, like licensing for electricians. We don't do that anymore. The state does all of that. So we took that out. We didn't change any of the fees currently. We rewrote it so it was compliant with what we're doing. Homestead, I know there was a question about should we define homestead, and that's entirely up to you. The way it's worded in the code is that property owners can do repairs to their primary residence as evidenced by a homestead exemption. So if they have filed for homestead, it's primary residence, they can do plumbing, they can do electrical, and they don't have to be licensed contractors. But our ordinance said just to their home, which it's not the case. So we added the word homesteaded.
Okay.
Do anybody feel like you need to define it?
They have a homestead exemption of record. It's sufficient in my mind, but.
When I just brought it up, I mean, I understand what a homestead is, but I didn't
Some
know if
people
there was
don't, though.
different ways to interpret it, and that was the purpose of the question. If it's clear in your mind and you can defend that, I'm good with it, but it just may be a minor opportunity to enhance that sentence to include, as Ms. Schroner suggested, a homestead exemption on record, if that's the right language. I think that makes it very clear, even for someone that doesn't know like me, if I ask.
We took out some of the things that were done during Harvey because they're no longer relevant. That's the registrant possessing their stuff and let's see, rolling 12-month. We took that out. There was a question about waiving the, where is it? Waiving the registration fee during, excuse me, during emergencies. And I think that was done. I mean, I can't speak because I wasn't here then, but because we did it in the city I was with, because of the hecticness and the chaos going on, and they had to have their badge with them, even though they didn't pay the registration fee. And as soon as the disaster was, the declaration expired, then they had to start paying again. But it's up to you. I don't know if you want to keep that in there.
So I think the question, and maybe Mike, you can help answer it, is it calls for waiving of the $100 registration fee during disaster. I understand that doesn't mean that they don't have to register, but I'm curious, why would we not accept that fee or require that fee when we're still doing that level of work? Now, if it's for a nonprofit or maybe some of these other
Hands of
entities
Hope
who are
did
trying to do good
things,
work, I
right.
get that, but these are incoming contractors who are making money in our community. Why would they not pay the same registration fee that all of our other contractors had to pay to do work in our city? I understand expediting. I'm not asking to hold that up, but you are asking them to register during a disaster. Why do they not have to pay the fee like everybody else?
I don't know why the fee was raised, during waived during Harvey. But, we scrambled to develop a policy where the contractors coming into town had to come in and register with us, get identification. We gave them a window sticker and a badge. We tried to get the message out to all of our citizens to check for that ID to ensure that they have registered. I agree with you. I think we should capture that $100 as they come in and register. They're already coming in, they're here. It's a standing fee that we have. All of our local contractors, they come in every year and register and re-register. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't capture that $100.
So when you look at Exhibit A on 196 of the agenda packet, this is under the section 22.3.11 building, subsection A2. It doesn't indicate whether this was a change because of Harvey. It depends on when you guys revised this building code previously. So this may have been legacy before Harvey.
It was revised, I believe, shortly after Harvey, and I don't know why it was revised and that was taken out. But I'm in full agreement that we should capture that $100 annually for any contractor that comes into the city of Rockport to do work, no matter what time it is. Time of, just time to do regular work or time of need because of an extended emergency or something like that. They're here to make money, so.
Right, yeah, so I think, I think removing it keeps it fair for our existing contractors. Clearly, if there's an issue that comes forward during the disaster that requires us to make a modification, there's a mechanism in place for us to do that. But I don't, if we're gonna make changes to this ordinance, I think that's something that should be struck out at this point.
Okay, how about if you change that to there shall be no fee assessed for registrations for nonprofit organizations only?
I don't think we want to get into that.
No?
I think we just leave it.
Then they have to prove, yeah.
If they're registering as a contractor, they should.
You're a contractor, you need to pay the fee.
Okay,
And most of the
take it
nonprofits, they're not coming in and registering as contractors.
Right.
They're just in the community.
They're
assisting.
hiring someone to do it, who's gonna make money off of the nonprofit.
So when Hands of Hope or any of the other organizations came in, did they register as contractors?
They did not register as contractors. They were coming in and they registered to be in our community as helpers, and they had a base of operations set up through the nonprofit coordinator during Harvey. And so if people qualified for that type of assistance, we moved them over to that group, and then they were either hooked up with Hands of Hope, the Baptist Men,
Good Samaritans.
the Cajun Army, and just
Any
several
of the groups,
others.
yeah.
But they also came in, when they came in to do their permits and everything else, they paid their fees also.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can't speak to all of those organizations, but in my role with Coast of Bend Disaster Recovery Group, to my knowledge, we paid for all permitting, for all projects and all communities.
Yes.
And that was okay. It wasn't always easy, and it did increase the cost of those projects, but we felt that it continued to help support the community recovery and was worth the funding because we were able to get the funding. A different disaster may be different. So, again, my experience, I think they should pay, and then if because of the disaster, there's a special one-off, it can be discussed and considered at that time and a modification made.
So I agree that we'll strike it.
A declared disaster will give us certain privileges. Once the disaster is declared, we can look at those things, but it's only at the time of the declared disaster. But we're setting ourselves up to ensure that, number one, we are getting everyone registered, getting them captured, if you will, and getting them into our system. That way, if there is an issue, and we had this during Harvey, where we had an issue with contractors that weren't as honest as they thought, as they presented themselves. But the recourse that we had is we had their registration, we had their driver's license. So if homeowner came in and said XYZ roofing company came in and I'm looking to find them because they left town with my money or whatever. We have their contact information we can share with the citizens and such. And the other thing is they're paying the fees, they're paying the permits, and that helps us recover.
Okay, well, I'll take it out.
We need a motion for that.
Do we need a motion?
Well,
no, this is the first reading.
No, you can make a motion with revision. Are you finished?
I was
Do
gonna
you have
explain the rest
anything
now.
else you wanted to say? Okay, we can pass on first reading with that we are going to amend as directed in this reading. And by second reading, that will be amended.
Yes, sir.
So I'll make the motion for this item with the amendment to section 22-311 building subsection A, that homestead be defined as we stated earlier.
Homestead exemption, yeah.
With the homestead exemption, and then A2 be struck out in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further question or debate? If not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Item number 18, deliberate and act on first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Rockport, Texas, adopting an order declaring certain charter amendments and adopted pursuant to a special election held on Saturday, May 6, 2023, adopting an authenticated copy of the Home Rule Charter for certification by the mayor, ordering the mailing of such authenticated copy of the amended City of Rockport Home Rule Charter showing the approval by the voters to the Secretary of State for file and recording said certification, providing for severability, finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law, and establishing an effective date. Any other comment? If not, we canvassed the vote and that was approved. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve agenda item number 18 as read.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Is there any further question or debate? If not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. Number 19, deliberate and act on acceptance of Rockport Harvey Housing LLC Pearl Point Annual Report and approval of rebate of property taxes paid in 2022 per the 2018 Chapter 380 Economic Development Agreement with Rockport Harvey Housing LLC.
Mayor and Council, this is a 380 agreement that was done several years back. And they have submitted, first of all, let me say, Pearl Point has been broken into two phases. So this is just phase 2 has met the conditions of the
380 agreement. So by the contract we have with them, they're due $33,926.
All right. Any question, council? If not, do I have a motion?
Move to approve item 19 as presented.
Have a
I'll
motion.
second.
Motion and a second. Any further question or debate? We'll call for a vote. Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. It's unanimous. Item number 20. Deliberate. I'm sorry.
got ahead of themselves.
What was? Deliberate and act on acceptance of Gulf Coast Hardware LLC, Ace Hardware, annual report and approval of payment for increase in sales and use tax paid in 2022 per the 2016 Chapter 380 Economic Development Agreement with Gulf Coast Hardware LLC.
And Council, this is an additional 380 agreement that was entered into, obviously, 2016. And they have met
The conditions of the contract and are owed 40% of their sales tax due back, which is $23,323.82.
All right. Any question, council? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve item 20 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further question or debate? Call for vote, Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye, it's unanimous. Item number 21. Boy, this is getting easy. Deliberate and act on approval of an emergency purchase order for equipment to replace a failed rake system in the clarifier at the wastewater treatment plant. Mr. Donahoe.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this equipment that we're ordering and has been ordered will replace an existing rake system that had a catastrophic failure at the wastewater treatment plant. If you remember, a few weeks ago, we came to you and we ordered some equipment to replace what we call the grit screw removal system. And there's four places within the plant during the process that helps remove the solids. When the waste gets to the wastewater treatment plant, it goes through what we call the headworks, and then we have a rotoscreen, which is it's the seagull treadmill that you see out at the wastewater treatment plant where it begins to remove the solids. Then it goes through a grit screw system and further solids are removed. Then it goes through two different processes and then it goes into a clarifier where further solids are removed. The grit screw system is 100% out of service. It went out completely and we ordered that equipment and it has a 6 to 9 month lead time to get here. Okay, so we had another failure of the rake system within the clarifier and it was limping along and it finally stopped. And so now we only have 2 spots within the plant or the treatment process that are removing solids, which is leading to an extended amount of suspended solids in our effluent discharge, which could create a problem with exceeding our permit levels. So we had to order this equipment. We ordered it on May the 16th. It has about a 6 to 9 week delivery time. We have a contractor in place that when the equipment gets here, they will install it in the existing clarifier. We have another project that is scheduled to come to you in the very near future for about $3.4 million for upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant, which will include the replacement of the grit screw system and adding an additional clarifier and repairing the rake system and fixing the tank on the existing clarifiers that are already there. This just gets us limping along as we go. Right now, we're running what we call the belt press. We're running it about 16 to 18 hours a day and removing massive amounts of solids, and then that solid is trucked off for agricultural use. But this has already been done. It's allowed by the local government code, procurement necessary to preserve and protect the public health and safety of the municipality, or procurement necessary because of unforeseen damages to public machinery, equipment, or other property. So we went ahead, sent the purchase order in, the equipment is on order, we expect to get it in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and we already have a contractor standing by to put it in when it gets here.
Any questions, council?
I have no problem with the PO going through. I mean, obviously, it's a need. And thanks for not totally delving into how the sausage is made, in public record. Are there any other stopgap measures between now and 9 months from when?
We've got a fingers crossed, we're saying a prayer, and I will say that we've been, limping along for multiple years out there. I feel like we have put the wastewater treatment back together with baling wire, chewing gum, and duct tape, and we haven't done a real good job of having a preventative maintenance program. But we've implemented this upgrade. Once it's done, we're gonna have what I call a new and improved plant. The chemistry is gonna be a little bit different. We're adding a third clarifier to the mix, but we also are looking at a capital improvement plan that will include preventative maintenance to ensure that we have a plan to replace these things before they break down.
Councilmember Brunner,
Yes, ma'am.
into a worst case scenario, we can enter into a pump and dump contract.
So
I was just trying to
Yeah,
keep them getting there.
If we have another failure, we would end up having a contractor come in with pump trucks and removing our sludge and taking it elsewhere. That's expensive, but it is backup. And, we have a plan in place. We have a contractor on standby, but we are limping along. We are still well within the permit levels from TCEQ on our suspended solid discharge. And there's no environmental issues with the discharge or anything else. It's still suitable for irrigation, if you will, it's still safe for wildlife and fisheries. We're not busting permit, we're not doing anything that's gonna get the city in trouble with TCEQ.
Okay.
But we are, like I said, limping along.
And our new improvements will have a lifespan repair replacement plan, so there's no more bubble gum and baling wire.
Baylor? And
Ma'am.
that, the one, that we have, well, I guess the two that we've already purchased, those will work with the expansion of?
The grid screw equipment will align with the contract when that equipment gets here. That's a 6 to 9 month lead time on getting that equipment here. So when that equipment gets here, that'll be part of the process for the $3.4 million.
Roger that.
With the rate system that we've just ordered, when the project takes place and we start moving forward, we've got two options. We can leave the newest existing rake in the clarifier, or as part of the project, we can replace the rake and take this rake out and put it in storage and have one in backup. And that's what we'd like to do. But we're gonna be monitoring the budget as we go and everything else to ensure that we're spending our money wisely. But it's always good to have spare parts.
Understand. Okay. No further questions.
Any other questions?
So Vanessa, the 125, almost 126,000, we're absorbing that into the existing budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve emergency purchase order?
I make the motion for item 21 as presented.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further question? If not, we'll call for a vote. Ward 1.
Aye.
Ward 2.
Aye.
Ward 3.
Aye.
Ward 4.
Aye.
Mayor, aye. It's unanimous. Item number 22, city manager report.
Don't have anything that you're not up to date on.
Very good. Reports from council. Have anything new already that you would like to talk about?
No, I'm just looking forward to fulfilling this position and working with the council, so I just thank everybody for all of the support I've received.
Thank you, appreciate it, look forward to working with you.
Thanks.
And you?
I almost always have something, but I really don't. The last 2 weeks, we've not had any new activity in Ward 2, with the exception of, I've had a couple constituents that have reached out, updates on flooding or water behavior in their community as construction has commenced, and just kind of following the water and making sure that it behaves the way it is. So I appreciate those that reached out. We've also had some calls on some code enforcement concerns, and those have been turned over to Vanessa for follow-up, and I appreciate that. Other than that, welcome to the team here.
Thank you.
And I look forward to working with you.
Brett? I returned from the TML Leadership Academy this week, and I would say that was a very fun and worthwhile academy to attend. Got to make a lot of contacts from the Panhandle to West Texas to East Texas down to South Texas. It was no matter what part of the state you're in, everybody's got the same problems. Maybe West Texas doesn't have drainage problems, but because it doesn't rain. But anyway,
blows away.
just the wind moves it. But anyway, it was a really good academy training session to attend, and I want to thank the city for allowing me to attend. We have I think some good news on the GLO drainage projects. I hope to start seeing some equipment coming very soon. I know a lot of people in Ward 3 are very anxious and excited to see that happen, and so we look forward to that. Hopefully it's a worthwhile project, and fingers crossed, knock on wood and everything, that it goes smoother this time. Has to. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Ward 1, Andrew?
I guess we'll start off in saying thank you to Ken Bear and Natalie for coming out today. You're in my ward, so I appreciate your comments, and we will continue working on what we can do to better the drainage in our area. One project is done, so now we can start looking forward to the new ones. On top of that, I did attend the TML Small Conference a couple weeks back, I believe, and that was good information, and that's just for towns that are growing, and all small towns in Texas are growing right now. So just giving you a little bit a better outlook and how to navigate it and the way you want to navigate it and the location that you're in, and that was a lot of good information. I guess the only other thing is kids are going to be out of school this week. We have seniors graduating. I have to put a plug into my daughter. She's graduating, class of 2023, so very proud of her, and we just have to congratulate all the other seniors out here that are going to go out into the world and better it for us, so let's give them all a lot of kudos.
I think Stephanie has a son that's graduating.
Yes, yeah, well, congratulations to your son. And I think that's it.
The only thing I've got, the regular council meeting scheduled for June the 13th has been rescheduled for Wednesday, June the 14th. So the council meeting in 2 weeks will be on the 14th of June. Anything else before? Next, City Council will hold an executive session pursuant to provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551.071, consultations with attorneys seeking the advice of attorney about pending or contemplated litigation or a settlement offer, and on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with its chapter Concho Street General Land Office GLO drainage projects. It is 7:13 and we are in executive session. Just said, all that doesn't matter anymore. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Nope. Okay.
So motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. It is 7:14.